let's talk about your club for a second. Manchester United news, by the way, reports from Fabrizio Romano per, of course, Mark Ogden as well, and Rob Dawson are good friends there as well from ESPN originally. But Fabrizio Romano also reported it as well, obviously confirming it, our very own Fab. Erik Ten Hag, Michael Lahoud, Manchester United board are pushing on Ten Hag as new manager per Mark Ogden, of course. An agreement not completed, but the talks are ongoing on staff, budget, and more. He's also approved by Ralf Rangnick, and Erik Ten Hag priority has always been Manchester United's work in progress. Apparently, they had a meeting, maybe more than one, and Ten Hag laid down all his questions. Essentially, it was Ten Hag interviewing United, which is how I feel it should be at this point.
Yeah.
And it's basically set by Dan. What are your thoughts on this?
Right manager, but could it be the wrong time?
Why?
This is a special manager. This is a very quality manager. He has a playing philosophy, dynamic, interchangeable, possession oriented. Just what he's done at Ajax over the last couple of years has been special to watch, and it's made me an Ajax fan. Not just because he potentially could be the United manager, but just as a lover of the game, it's been refreshing to watch that sort of management and that sort of football being played again coming out of the Netherlands. Now, with this Manchester United team, though you have a new manager, will they give him the freedom to get the players and the system he wants to implement? Because with how things have been as of late, especially in the last couple of years, you could bring in Zidane, you could bring in anyone around the world, but that ain't going to change anything if the powers that be above don't release control over what's happening in that locker room and what's happening with contracts and really the things that impact the wider picture for this team. Paul Pogba needs to be moved on.
For his sake, honestly, for his sake.
He's a brilliant player. And I'm a Paul Pogba fan as I'm saying that, but it's hurting the player and it's hurting the club. And it's just not a good relationship at this point. Yeah. You're seeing that in some of his displays as of late, and it just really looks labored when he's on the field. I think it'd be eye-opening to see what Ten Hag does with a Cristiano Ronaldo. Does the club, is that part of the discussions? Because if you think back to when they had the chance to get Antonio Conte, I could imagine that Conte may have had that in his clause of, well, if I'm going to come here, that may not be one of my players. So I think the United board really need to take a long, hard look in the mirror and ask themselves, do we just want to get this guy to say that we did miss out on him now? Or are we going to give this guy the right control and the right powers to change this entire thing around?
Yeah. Call to action, everybody. Comments, please send them in right now. Is Erik Ten Hag the right man for the job, for the Manchester United job? I do believe, Michael, that part of that interview process was Erik Ten Hag literally talking about what you're talking about, which is like, what is my freedom in terms of the preseason? What can I do? How is this going to be set up in order to help me develop the squad that I want? Budget, etc., all that stuff. So I'm sure he's thinking, I have no doubt Erik Ten Hag, to your point, fantastic manager. Tremendous what he's done with Ajax. I like that comment that you made about whether he's the right man for this club at this time. Let's see what happens, especially if he enters in the preseason where hopefully he can get everything together. We will see. Time will tell. I've always thought that the best man for Manchester United is actually somebody that doesn't want anything to do right now with United or the Premier League, and that's Zinedine Zidane. Because he would be the man that would come in and his reputation would demand the respect of a Ronaldo or whatever. So all these little tiffs that we're hearing about, whether they're true or not, that would not happen with Zinedine Zidane. That's never going to happen. Zidane doesn't want the Premier League, etc. Erik Ten Hag, to me, is a great, great, great manager. Nobody's the right man to manage Manchester.
Oh, man.
Yeah, something tells me you're not a United fan, Ali. That's fine. But Ten Hag has the tactical know-how, the awareness, and he can do tremendous things. But to your point, he's going to look at the squad and think, who fits? Who doesn't? Who's not truly all in on this setup? And if they're not, then it's fine. There's the door, etc. They're going to have to figure out up front, because Edinson Cavani wants to go. They're going to have to figure out what to do with Marcus Rashford, because right now he's a shadow of himself. They're going to have to figure out, of course, the off-the-field issues. The Mason Greenwood situation is no laughing matter. Something has to be done with that, of course. So there's a lot that has to be done with this club. And Erik Ten Hag is probably thinking very carefully here, Michael Lahoud, well, do I want this? And it seems that it's going to happen. But all the best. Final thoughts on Ten Hag before we move on to my next question about this. And by the way, is Ten Hag the right man for the job, everybody? Great comments. Please keep them coming.
Remember when Manchester City gave Pep Guardiola the job?
Mm.
Before Pep made any signings, what'd he do? He got rid of the trash. He took the to the bin. It is Pep Guardiola, but at the same time, it's a manager who was given the freedom.
And I have no doubt that that's what's going to happen to Erik Ten Hag. I think he will get that freedom. I'm actually more concerned about if there's any truth to the whole drama within Joe Hart, better than Ronaldo. If there's any truth to that, to all the tiffs that are going on within the dressing room, you need somebody that just says enough. Like, this is not happening. Like, I hope that that's Ten Hag. It will be interesting to see how he manages that. But to your point, Guardiola came into Man City and said, look, I don't want this. Like, we're not doing this. We're going to focus on this, whatever. So will he get the doors to the kingdom? We'll see. Valentina, I don't think he's the right manager for United. Ajax is not in the same pressure. Yeah, okay. And a much lower league than Premier. It's not a bad point. Ajax, with all due respect, a tremendous club, but you almost have to try not to be a top 2 team in the Eredivisie when you're Ajax, right? When you're Ajax. Obviously, there's competition, no disrespect to PSV Eindhoven, etc. But, it's true. Like, the Premier League gives you a certain level of pressure, but I think he's a smart enough man to take care of that. I just thought that the only person that can fix this is Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. And when there were rumors circulating around about Zidane as a potential replacement, I thought, Adidas. He used to be an Adidas guy. Ronaldo, only person apart from Fergie Ronaldo listened to and respect. This is a match made in heaven. Now I'm asking myself, where's the bourbon?
Would you have preferred Mauricio Pochettino?
Who? No. No. And it just Pochettino's in a really raw place right now.
Yeah,
and we don't need a coach who's hurting coming to United because as a fan I'm hurting.
Yeah, that's true. Manchester United is not your therapy session. Like, they're not going to be. They need help themselves. That's true. Listen, I'm going to tell you something about Pochettino, though, everybody. I don't want this whole argument about like he's never won a title. Like, you are looking at this game the wrong way. Pochettino, especially in what he did at Espanyol and Southampton, were fantastic. He, the only reason why he didn't win the Premier League title with Tottenham was because there was a ridiculous, miraculous situation with Leicester City. Like, they really. And so there is a great manager in there. I just think that Pochettino needs a club that needs salvation from a hunger perspective, not a top 2, not a top 4. Go to La Liga, go back there and manage a team that's trying to get into the top 4 and trying to fight a Villarreal kind of team. I'm not saying Unai Emery should go. I'm just saying like that kind of situation. That's what's going to help Pochettino. Go to Serie A and maybe do something special with a team that needs help. But don't go to like a team that's already a top 2, but don't disregard his work just because he hasn't won silverware. Like, he's done a lot. It's just, to your point, it's not the right combination. Pochettino and Manchester United, not at this very moment. He should have taken it before Solskjaer got that full-time contract. Anyway, that's what I.
That was at the time that was pre Ole's at the wheel.
Yeah,
and the wheels on the bus have since come off.